Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're conducting a HCMC stock update. I know it, you know it, you've seen the bombshell report circulating on social media and on YouTube. I wasn't originally going to do a video on this because it's so widely out there, but so many people have got in touch and asked and requested for it that I feel like I should comply and at least give my opinion and show the full document. So hopefully that is something you are interested in today. If you could show your appreciation by smashing the like button and considering subscribing to my channel, we'll talk about all things HCMC. Let's get in there. Hey guys, welcome into the video. So the first thing I like to do whenever we conduct a stock analysis, HCMC stock update, is have a quick look at the share price, because I'd like to create a bit of a history to see where we are at. So as you can see at the moment, over the last day's trading, it literally did its normal barcoding all the way through, and that is as expected at the moment. This news didn't really have any impact. In fact, the stock over the last 5 days is trading slightly lower, down at 0.0014. Not too bad, to be fair, to be expected while we're in the little quiet patch waiting results of the court case. And that's exactly what this update is all about. So this bombshell was released by Julian Saunders 1976. I'll take you in there and we're going to have a look at the full document. So thanks to @TTrader 1976, aka Julian Saunders, and the Irish Tiger 15 over on Twitter. So most people don't like to do a hell of a lot of reading, as they've already said, so they decided to break it down for everybody and for us alike, and I'm literally just conveying their information and giving my opinion on it. So PM does not have a patent for the IQOS device in the USA, but on the 30th of April 2019 the FDA gave PM approval to sell their IQOS device in the USA because it presented that the device does not go above 350 degrees Celsius, which is argued in the case as combustion. On the 19th of August 2020, Philip Morris was granted a European patent for its IQOS device. Here is the quote from the European patent: preferably electrical energy supplied to heating element, whether the heating elements are included or one or more of the heating elements, until heating element of, that's a bit of a mouthful, each temperature between approximately 250 to 440 degrees. Obviously that includes 350 degrees, so there's already grounds building up right there, which is conflicting to say the least. The next thing we have is the facts. So there's a 33-page motion to dismiss filed by Philip Morris, the FDA official document approval of the PM's IQOS device. We've got the IQOS European patent, the Japanese patent, and the USA application for a patent, the Helsinki independent independent body for tobacco combust, the money trail for tobacco lobbying and FDA related matters, and the independent scientific study evidence of pyrolysis. God, this is a really good mouthful. None of what they are presenting is left open to interpretation. This is not their opinion. In fact, it's based on just legal documents and PM themselves. So for disclosure purposes, this is PM's own documents for the purposes of the IQOS device, verified by science and financial publications. Once you start going down this rabbit hole, we have to go and fully comprehend the overarching narrative. You have to do and know where to look. You have to know what you are looking for. So this is a very helpful document released by these guys, really useful. So the motion to dismiss is here. They get a 14-day free trial account if you go onto the PACE monitor. Essentially, if you go on there, you can get yourself access to the case and start looking. So on page 24 of 33 of PM's motion to dismiss, you've essentially got the biggest argument is that the device does not exceed 350 degrees, as annotated here, and that the device does not combust. And even compare what a huge difference there is between 350 degrees of that of a cigarette, which is occurs at 470 to 812 degrees. So the IQOS patent was granted on the 16th of September 2020, not all that long ago, and that patent essentially says 250 to 440 degrees. It completely contradicts itself, and if that evidence gets presented to the judge, then that is going to massively help HCMC's case. No mention at all of 350 degrees in the entire patent document. So the IQOS Japanese granted patent in February, 9th of February 2016. You can see this information yourself on just here by clicking this link here, by accessing the document. Again, there is no mention of 350 degrees in the patent log. In PM's US application, it clearly states 250 to 440 degrees, and yet no mention of 350 degrees in the Japanese patent. More evidence coming down on HCMC's side. The FDA approval of PM's IQOS device on the 30th of April 2019, the FDA gave Philip Morris approval to use the device in the USA, and the agency said it will closely monitor real-world data to assess if marketing continues to be appropriate. At no point does it say nowhere that anything about the IQOS ability to operate between 250 and 440 degrees in the FDA data doc, as seen as highlighted there. So PM's journey with the FDA is how PM got the FDA to approve their device, even while opposing groups were providing data showing that not all the scientific information was taken into account. So this has and screams a little bit of a lot of back and forth between PM and the FDA. We've got essentially, you've got to follow the money to see where it goes, as annotated by these traders. So they have a new administration took over in 2016. PM applies for FDA for their device on December 2016, potentially taking advantage of the changeover between administrations. In the first quarter of 2017 alone, tobacco companies and trade associations spent $4.5 million on federal lobbying, including 2.3 million by Altria and 1.3 million by Philip Morris, and 500 grand by Reynolds American. Lobbying filings show Altria has hired at least 17 lobbying firms. So if you're not sure what lobbying firms are, these are people acting on behalf of companies to get government and get government agencies to do what they want. Now Altria, even though Philip Morris is spending its own money on lobbying, Altria actually owns a big chunk, or owns outright in part Philip Morris. So essentially Altria is Philip Morris's parent company. So both of these huge tobacco companies are spending an awful lot of money lobbying government, and a very new administration at that back then, to get what it wants. And you can see that this sort of worked with the FDA at this case. There's no doubt about it, really. Such firms recently added a former chief of staff to the Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell to the stable of lobbyists. Altria is PM, same company, so I said that slightly before they said it. But yeah, they spent an awful lot of money on lobbying federal government to get what they wanted, and this literally makes sense here. So from the 2017 to 2019, they spent 32 million on tobacco lobbying, approximately 26 million related to FDA matters. So there you go. So in 2 years they spent $32 million on getting what they wanted, getting IQOS approved from the FDA, and you can follow that link there. Scientific studies, like an independent paper from 2 professors on the University of Helsinki, state that pipe temperatures, cigarette temperatures and cigar temperatures are completely different depending on the environment that they're in. So 470 is for cigarettes, 380 for cigars, 380 for pipes. However, PM has made a one-sided argument to the FDA by simply comparing it to a burning cigarette. This is not the case. Apples to apples, not apples to bananas. Next thing we've got going on is pyrolysis. So to read about this, it's never mentioned in the patent at all. And essentially what we're looking at here is what is combustion, gasification or combustion. PM claims emphatically that it is a zero combustion with IQOS device. HCMC patent is for partial combustion. Zero is a definitive number, partial is not. So that cannot stand up, and is open to reasonable doubt. HCMC merely has to show that IQOS has partial combustion, because that is exactly what their patent is for. Now, IQOS does essentially combust. It's partial, so if there is any sort of partial combustion there, then that will seriously help HCMC's case. So, looking at the importance of numbers, we really are getting there, guys. So 350, 380, 440 and 470, everything is in degrees Celsius. 350 is the number that PM sold to the FDA. 350 is what PM uses to market its IQOS device. 350 is nowhere to be found on any PM patent documentation. 350 is what PM uses itself to distance itself from cigarettes' lowest burning temperature of 440 degrees. So that is a little bit fishy to me. 380 is when tobacco begins to burn in a pipe. 380 is when tobacco begins to burn in a cigar. 380 is the number. PM never mentions any of this on its documentation. Now 440 is the magic number. PM's IQOS temperatures range from 250 to 440 as seen. PM never shares with the FDA that its device can go up to 440, so they've neglected to disclose that, which you could argue they did on purpose. 440 is only 30 less than when tobacco combusts at 470. 440 is 90 over from where tobacco combusts in a pipe, a cigar, where partial combustion can take place in accordance with the HCMC product. PM never mentions 440 in any of its IQOS marketing messaging, and 470 is when tobacco begins burning in cigarettes. So there you have it. There's a lot of fishy information that's been provided, information that hasn't been provided there, and that again is grounds when you're going to go over it in a fine-tooth comb, which is what's going to happen in the court case by really exceptional chosen lawyers. They're going to start picking up this information very quickly and presenting it to the judge. So in summary, PM's IQOS patent temperatures range between 250 and 440. Nowhere in their EU, Japanese or USA patent application do they mention 350 degrees. The FDA documents, nowhere in the FDA documents does it mention 250 to 440. PM withheld information from the FDA that IQOS is able to go up to 440. So PM conveniently left out 35 harmful and potentially harmful constituents from the HPHCs from its toxicology report to the FDA. And they spent a hell of a lot of money lobbying the FDA to get what they want. So this, combined with HCMC's side of things, is really starting to ground some data for the case now. PM found out that partially burning the tobacco was key for a safer product. The problem was HCMC already had that patent in place. So PM does not have the US patent for their IQOS device, so their strategy was to get the FDA to review their proposal, get approval and go to market. And guess what? It worked. They spend a ton of money lobbying the FDA, over $32 million from Altria, from Philip Morris, and they got what they wanted, and now they've generated billions of dollars in sales from it. The FDA was not checking to see if PM was infringing on other patents, because that's not their job. They're interested in just medical safety, and they were simply passing the view they've been proposed by PM and was safer than original cigarettes, which is correct based on the snippet of information that PM gave them to go off. So PM does not want this to go to discovery, because this will flip the whole thing wide open, and they do not want that to happen, because it will reveal lots of things, lots of cheeky little things in the cupboard that they perhaps should not or would not want in the public domain. So in that case, what is the best option for them? They are going to want to settle this out of court and get this squared away, get this gone, get it paid off, and then they can get back to doing. They've already generated billions and billions of dollars from this product, so they're not going to want to lose it. They're essentially going to pay up to HCMC and make it go away. So PM will have to prove that pyrolysis does not occur in IQOS, and that is a very difficult thing to do. And then moving on to the last thing, there's over 1 billion in volume trying to push HCMC stock higher on as of the 18th of March. So over 1 billion in volume occurred on that day, attempting to get HCMC over the marked higher. We obviously know that that didn't happen, but it's getting there. There is a massive movement beyond this stock. Hey guys, thank you very much for bearing with me on that one. I know I was speaking a lot, but I thought it was very important to go through the whole document and show you all the facts and all the figures and offer my opinion on every part of it. So, Philip Morris and by extent Alsha spent an awful lot of money lobbying a brand new administration and the FDA at a point at when it was most weakest. They presented limited information to get what they wanted, which there was their IQOS product to market. Now the legality or the moral case for doing so remains to be seen. Not going to pass an opinion on that, but essentially they got what they wanted. They generated billions of dollars in sales, but nowhere in the patents they neglected, in their patents in Europe and in Japan, did they disclose the same sort of information as they did to the FDA. So that is a little bit fishy in my opinion. So overall, I definitely think that PM is going to want to settle this out of court. They don't want to get their, essentially air their dirty washing in the streets in the court case and show the skeletons that they've got in their closet. They're going to want to keep this as clean as they possibly can. It's already a little bit messy, so they're going to want to just settle up, pay whatever, almost whatever it is that HCMC wants, just to make it go away. That remains my opinion. That seems to be the opinion of many investors, so I think that's where we are at. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I know it's been a bit of a long video, but hey, I had to show you everything that I had and everything that my opinion is to disclose it. Thank you very much for watching. If you could smash that like button on your way out, that would be awesome, and I'll see you in another episode. Catch you later.